Welcome to the Carolina Nexus podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I got a very good show planned for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about the characters of Vince Raymond and Luke Mitchell. I have permission to talk about who they're based off of for both characters. Before we bring on one of the guys that Vince Raymond's based off of, I got a few announcements and go through some of my list of people that sponsor me. Most importantly, Dubby. Go to w.gg, order you some energy powder, energy drink mix. It's amazing. I have mine right here. I'm still drinking on it. It's the Calio cream, which tastes like orange dreamsicle, or for those of you that are familiar with them, the Flintstones push pops from the 90s. Those were the bomb. I don't care what you say. So let's jump right into these sponsors and associates. They scrolled in the intro, the new intro, might I add. It took me a minute to make those. The only one I did not add was Diesel Honey from Dump Truck, the American Diesel. I cannot wait for mine to come in so I can test it out here on the show and let you guys know my personal opinion on it. That is not the picture I wanted to show. Sorry about that, guys. Gemstone Championship Wrestling presents Icebreaker April 18th. This is an all-female promotion. I'm excited for this show. I cannot wait until it kicks off. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a joint show with Snoo, and it's going to be amazing. It's in Gastonia at the VFW. Go check them out April 18th. As a wrestling fan since 1995, the first time I saw Diamond Dallas Page do the diamond and yell bang into my camera, I'm excited for this women's revolution of wrestling to finally come to the Indies, to finally come to Carolinas. And then I have this show to put up for you guys. TCW presents Valentine's Vengeance, February 21st, the day before my birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, historic Shelby City Park is where I first saw my very first in-person wrestling show. You can't be disappointed there. When you go there, there's a lot of history. TCW is bringing top-notch entertainment back to Flair Country. If you're a wrestling fan, you know what Flair Country means. You know what Ric Flair and professional wrestling means to the Carolinas. And for those of you that aren't in the know and or have been living under a rock for the last 20-some-odd years, Ric Flair is the Michael Jordan of professional wrestling. So check out the new generation of up-and-coming stars with TCW and with Gemstone Championship Wrestling. I'm here for it. But enough about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get right into the show. The reason we are here is for the Carolina Nexus. These books, starting at the Enter the Tiger, Tigapagon, Hometown Justice Homecoming, Hometown Justice Rebellion, Hometown Justice Aftermath. And then we transition into the sister series that takes place in the same universe. The Idol, a Casey Elkins investigation, and the Daywalker, a Casey Elkins investigation. That's going to be a majority of what our shows are about. I am, however, planning some off-script shows where I talk about other things. The Carolina Nexus podcast isn't just a pony. We're going to talk about a multitude of things. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring on my special guest now. Put your hands together. For a guy who's been on the show before, we didn't talk very long, but he was driving. He's still driving. He's a truck driver. My best friend since childhood, my baby brother. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Vinny Ryan. Welcome aboard, Vinny. How you doing?
What's up? Just out here running the road.
What part of the world you in today?
I'm in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Oh, down there near where Shelton Benjamin's from.
Mm-hmm.
So I got you on the show today because we're talking about Vince Raymond, a character that I based off of you in Hometown Justice. I gave you a copy of the first book. Have you managed to read it?
No, not all of it.
You always were a slow reader. It's okay.
Well.
It also doesn't help that your wife says you lost it.
Well, I misplaced it.
That's fancy words for lost it, Vinny.
I know that. But, I was reading it.
So, and a lot of people that have read the books have asked me why I based somebody I consider a brother, why I made him a villain. It's because they don't know how our friendship started. We actually started out as frenemies.
Yeah, we didn't really hate each other, but we just didn't know each other well enough to call each other, friends.
Right. Amber says you're missing out, Vinny. You need to read the book.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Well, last time I was on the show, you're supposed to get me another copy.
Yes, I have a copy that I got to bring to you, or Jessica's going to pick it up at Dollar Tree for you one day. I haven't. I got to talk to Jessica about when she wants to do that.
Which Dollar Tree you work at?
The Cleveland Mall location.
No, well, well, when do you next work? Cause I'm free throughout the weekend.
Well, I work Wednesday through Saturday.
No, so you'll be working this Saturday.
Yes, I'll be working this Saturday.
Hmm.
Anyways, let's dive into this. I'm sure I know at least Amber has some questions about your character. She's asking them to me, and I told her stop asking questions. Um, ask them online. Ask them on the show. So, but we're going to dive into the character real quick. Vince Raymond is introduced in book one as Tommy Leon's mechanic. And I did that because growing up, your dad was a mechanic, and um, that's what you had aspired to be. You want to be just like your dad. And no disrespect to Don, I think you're doing pretty well for yourself as a truck driver, not the mechanic.
Yeah.
I and Don was one of the few people in the world that I respected as much as I respected my parents. So no disrespect to him. I think you're doing pretty good for yourself. You did better than I thought you were going to do as a truck driver. I'll give you that
Yeah.
much.
Well, I guess I can appreciate that.
And I didn't initially. I was going to use your dad as the character, but I was like, no, because I don't want to. I don't want Vinny thinking I'm disrespecting his dad. So I said, you know what? I'll do Vinny in this role instead of his dad.
Oh
And
yeah.
when you became a truck driver, I just didn't change the character. I said, "Fuck it, he's going to stay the same way that I initially envisioned him," and that's where we're at. Um, just like you, Vince Raymond grew up in Pokeville after the family moved there during his middle school days, and there's not a whole lot of interaction between Vince and the main characters in the prequel. He's there, but it's not a whole lot of interaction. So the prequel's not really something he's prominent in. Then there's going to be, as he got older, Alex left for the military, and Vince made some bad choices, got in with the wrong crowd, and wound up in jail. That's where Tommy Leon's comes in. Leon's pays off his fines and court fees, and hires him, and he starts Vince off as a tool bitch, but the correct word is tool retrieving specialist. But Vince works his way up and becomes his lead mechanic, even though Vince doesn't have the degrees that other characters have. Any questions so far, Vinny? He's based off you. I know you got to have some.
No, I mean it sounds like you got me all figured out there. I mean, other than the part of going to jail, I didn't do that.
You did go to jail. You was with that.
I,
You was best friends with that Chris Hamrick motherfucker, and he wouldn't let us hang out for a while. You were basically in jail.
well, yeah, but I wasn't in like actual jail.
Right.
But no, that's just that. I did grow up in Pokeville for most of my teen years. Oh, well, all of my teen years. I think I was still in elementary school when I moved there.
Right. Yeah, because you're a year younger than me, and you moved there my first year in middle school, which was your last year in elementary school.
Yep.
Next door
We were.
neighbors, we hated each other. Well, didn't really hate each other, but we had a friendly rivalry for the first year or so, and then you started spending more time at my house than you did at home, and the brotherhood was
Yeah.
born.
Well, I was actually at your house a lot more then. And, I mean,
Yeah.
I still got pictures of us sitting on the back porch, our hideout,
Yeah.
as we called it. I mean, I even got pictures of you with your Pikachu birthday cake.
Right. I mean, my sister has a picture of you wearing her purple Halloween wig, dancing in a dress with her. So
Yeah, well,
she wouldn't let
even
me take
got
a picture of
pictures
it, put
where
it on the show for you.
And well, I even got pictures where we were dressed up for church
Yeah.
and stuff. And I think there's one picture where I was holding Virginia,
Yeah.
the
There's plenty of
Chihuahua.
pictures of you in Virginia. Virginia was our family dog, and she loved you for some reason.
Oh yeah. Well, the feelings were mutual.
Yeah. Oh, it was hard not to love Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Amber says she needs to see those pictures of Alex.
Mm.
I'm sure you've seen them, Amber. My mom shares them too. She has the exact same pictures.
He ain't missing much. He's still ugly.
I mean, you said it, not me.
Well, I mean,
What the hell you got
you,
beeping over there?
oh, there's a vehicle in front of me going 55 miles an hour down the interstate.
Ah, okay. We'll take Optimus Prime and push it out the way.
I'm going around him.
Anyways, Amber, I know you got questions. Pop them in here. See what we got for you. See if we can answer. If Vinny or I either one can answer them, we can.
Oh yeah, I'll try. You'll have to read them because I can't see them on the question.
I can. I have no problem doing that. Damn it! Now the computer ain't wanting to work again. There we go. Yes, that was Vinny's beeper. That wasn't yours, Amber. She said, "Man, that's you. I thought something was going off in my house."
No, no. On this truck, I got an eyeball on the front that measures following distance.
Oh,
As
you
you can
like that,
tell,
don't you?
no, I paid no attention, as you can see by the erratic beeping.
You've always been very impatient. It's okay.
I'm very impatient. I gotta go.
That's the reason. And at the closer to the end of book one, your character really hastens the plot. He really shows his true side there. But don't worry, I'm gonna give him a redemption story because you had a redemption story in my life, so you're gonna get it. I just put it on paper this time. That way, we're not going to forget in our old age.
Yeah.
It all started with where you going to feed the damn chickens? You want to come?
Sure. Why not? And then that became an everyday thing.
Right. I would purposely wait till I saw your dad's Cadillac come in and you get out of it to start to go feed the chickens, so you join me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, growing up with you is where I learned how to eat fast or don't eat at all.
You had to.
Because we was always, well, yeah, we was eating breakfast and your dad done been up and done eating, ready to go to the flea market. So we had to damn scarf it down so we could go.
Right. Or we
'Cause
didn't go.
we were going to find, well, yeah, we were going to find Pokemon cards or something that we could get our hands on. Or one of the old SmackDown versus Raw or WWE game that we could play with.
SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was the best. So Amber asks,
Yes.
she says, okay, I like both of your series, so I have to ask, will Vince Raymond ever encounter Casey Elkins? Well, yes and no. Casey Elkins is a prominent part of the Hometown Justice series. She was introduced in Hometown Justice Hostile and that acted as a backdoor pilot to the standalone Casey Elkins series. So there's going to be crossovers, and Casey will interact with Vince during his redemption arc in the second trilogy of books. I'm not going to explain how that gets set up, but just know it's coming in the second trilogies.
We need a movie.
Me and Scott's working on it.
Yeah, because, I actually will play the part, if I can.
Just know you're not getting paid for it till we figure out if we're going to get paid for making the movie.
Story of my life. All the things that we've done, all we've done, we never got paid for. We should have made a daggum reality show of our lives.
No kidding. Like, if I could ever find that camera where you recorded me and Michael Peterson fighting on top of that building, I'd love to find that camera.
I've took some moves off that building myself.
Yeah, well, that was a different story.
So wonder why my damn knees hurt.
Your knees. What about my back?
Well, I mean, we did beat the crap out of each other.
It was a brotherhood forged through the bonds of war. Okay. Um.
Oh, I mean, I'll never forget the trampoline wrestling matches that we
God,
had.
yes. Especially with the twins when I moved
Oh,
to Blacksburg in
yeah.
2003.
Oh, yeah, we beat the hell out of them all the time.
And if you think about it, Vinny, it's weird because if you had never taken me to watch The Marine for my birthday in 2007, I never would have got the opening sequence of Hometown Justice written either.
That's a good movie.
It was, and you hit me up and said I can't do a whole lot for your birthday, so let's go watch this John Cena movie. I know you like wrestling, so we went and watched it. And it was a good movie. It's better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I mean, and John Cena's kind of your hero. I mean,
Yeah,
I think he was all our hero. You know, it's John Cena.
hard not to like a man that goes out there and does what he did what he did. Even though even when he was a heel, I liked him more than I did as a face because as a heel I could get behind the shit talk he did. It's
Well,
kind of my stick.
I've always been I've always been a fan of the face characters on wrestling. That's no secret. I mean, there's a couple heels that I do like. I mean, I liked heel Roman because, well, I mean, Roman was just good. It's just good at what he does.
Right.
But I don't. But there's some heels that just don't need to be heels because they're not good heels. Like, yeah, they're doing they're I mean they're doing it right. They're getting the heat from the crowd and all that, but they're just they have to force it because it don't come natural. And you got like Randy Orton. I mean, he don't. I mean, he's naturally heel. I mean, he was heel for so long, it just comes natural to him.
Right.
It's about time for him to do another heel run, though.
I think when he does, they're gonna put the belt on him.
He's either gonna go heel or Cody Rhodes is gonna go heel.
I think they're calling for Cody to go heel, which
Because that's the next feud. I think they're gonna have Cody win the chamber and or somehow or something to get the belt back on him and face Randy at Mania.
Amber asked, "Will Vince have any scenes with the core group of protagonists?" Yes. In book one, there's a scene where he goes to Kwando School of Martial Arts, the main dojo, and he encounters Ken and Ty, which is funny because Ty has elements of Vince's personality too. And then in the second trilogy, he interacts with them a lot because he's on his redemption course. The second trilogy really kicks off his redemption arc in the very beginning and sets up a lot of stuff for him going forward. He's going to play a prominent role throughout the rest of the series. After his redemption arc, he'll be part of the final trilogy, and there'll be a lot of interaction with the main group. Thanks for asking that, Amber. All right, so Vince, let me ask you this. Um, what made you decide to stop pursuing mechanic work and body work and pursue being a truck driver?
Well, I've never really quit pursuing it. More or less, I'm more or less into body work. Anything. It's more of a hobby for me. I enjoy doing it so much so that I really don't want to do it as a job. I enjoy doing it as a hobby. Um, but truck driving come along for me in 2013 after just career fireman was not where I needed to be. Um, it kind of landed in my lap accidentally. I was actually looking online to get information on applying to Charlotte Fire Department, and truck driving actually come up as a pop-up ad. We all remember pop-up ads back
Oh
in the
God,
day. Um,
world's worst.
yeah, and and it come up as an ad for truck driving. Be your own boss. Travel the country, get paid. Type of thing. And I clicked on it, and that kind of all started the whole journey into where I'm at now. 2013 is when I started, and
13 years later,
here
you're
we
still
are.
doing
And
it.
yep, 13 years later, I'm still doing it. Now I've graduated into the local world, so I go home a lot more than I used to.
Getting ready to say
Of
you.
course, I stay out some,
I
but
remember you
I'm
having a
home
love
more
hate
than I'm not.
relationship with truck driving because you was away from home so much. But
Yeah, I once had a job where I stayed gone, 5 to 6 weeks at a time, and I'd come home for about 5 to 7 days, and then I'd be back gone again. But I made really good money, and I seen a lot of cool places, and met a lot of really cool people, and I don't regret it. But I'm happy where I'm at now, so
is that why
I
they
get to
call you
go home
Tadpole?
a lot more. Well, actually, the funny story about that is actually whenever I left long haul and went into the local world, I was with a guy that trained me, and we were talking about when my wife was pregnant with our son. I was talking about, oh yeah, hey, my wife went to the doctor, had an ultrasound, and he's the big as a grapefruit seed and got a little tail. It kind of looks like a little tadpole, and I was all excited about it, and so he come up with that name because about how I talked about how my son's ultrasound looked, and so and it was kind of a joke, and it just stuck.
Okay. Because growing up, we had plenty of nicknames for each other. We both created several characters that we portrayed in our backyard imaginary adventures, and I wrote them into short stories on the computer. It was I figured that was kind of one of the ways you got the name Tadpole.
Well, and then wrestling names, I'm Benny Venom.
Yeah, that's one that we stuck with. Um,
And shout out to DCW, even though we're not there no more.
well, there's plans as soon as I can. I'm gonna open the doors back up on that. It's just a matter of getting some other stuff taken care of first. Um,
Two-time champ, by the way.
only because Jack Morgan let you be.
Well, that's okay. I'll take it. It's still in the record books. Still the longest reigning
Anyways,
champ, anyway. There's that.
yeah. Well, there it's at.
Hmm.
Don't worry, Amber misses DCW as much as you do. She just asked me about it before the show started this morning.
Yeah, I think I, I think we need a total 100% just revamp. Just
Well, that's what I
oh,
plan on doing once I get everything situated to bring it back. Revamping it and restarting it from scratch.
and actually sticking to the rules this time.
Yes.
And you need people that can help you enforce said rules.
That too. People that'll enforce them for everybody, including their own friends. That was my main issue. I had people that were supposed to help me enforce the rules, and then when it came to enforcing it for their friends, they didn't want to. Made me be the
Hmm.
bad guy all the time, and then they went to their friends and bitched, and it was just one thing after another. It got too much for me, and then with the baby being born and my increased hours at work because I'm trying to get this promotion, it was just too
Yeah.
much, and I couldn't handle it.
Well, yeah,
So
it's a lot. It's a lot, and then you never you and your hard headed demeanor don't like to ask for help.
I mean, what else could I do? I mean, I had to do the video editing and sending people. The way I looked at it, you offered to help, and it's nothing against you, but I'm gonna use you as an example because you're on my show. You offered to
Yeah.
help. If I had written the match for you to call it, took my time to write the match for and send it to you to call it, for you to send it back to me to screen record and add to the show, and all the time it took me to do that, I could have just done it myself.
Well,
And
yes. Well, I didn't have the let's see the means, the resources of doing that. Now that we have Wi-Fi in the big old town of Kaiser, I can do a little bit more.
That map
back.
dot town, that map dot town is going to be the setting of one of the Casey Elkins series books. As
Yeah,
soon as I get through with book 3,
because I didn't have back when I was giving you help. They didn't have internet. So I
yeah.
was just like, hey, if you send it to me, I'll call it and then send it back to you because I didn't have the means of posting it. Now that means of posting it. I have a computer now, so all I need is just some programs on how to to edit and everything else, and I can help out a lot more.
Okay, well that's good to know. I'll file that away.
I noticed something though while I was scrolling on my PlayStation that you now have WWE 2K25.
I've had 2K25 since it released.
You told me you didn't have it.
I didn't have internet.
Oh, because I couldn't figure out how to beat freaking Kevin Owens with Drew McIntyre. Or yeah, because I can beat the crap out of him and get him down to where his all the red in your the health levels down. But when it comes to Claymore kicking him on the ramp, he always counters it and then gets me back in the ring and then stuns me and then I can't kick out and I got like very little damage. Pisses me off. I rage
Sounds
quit.
like you. It sounds like you need to get better at video games instead of button
No,
mashing.
no,
You got
no.
that. You got the Amber complex.
No, but I know I went through the whole damn training on that damn game, and because I said to myself, I said I'm going to go through this the right way, and I'm going to learn how to do the moves. I know how to do everything that it's asked me to do. It's just when I get him out there on the ramp, and I set him up for the Claymore, he counters it and knocks me down, and then throws me in the ring, and then I try to throw a move at him to get him back out of the ring. He counters it, stuns me, and pins me. And I don't really see how him not have no health left. I mean, he's just got damage everywhere. And the only thing I got is my, like a
See,
yellow head, and he
I
pins
don't
me.
do. I don't do the showcase modes. So I'm asking this question as somebody looking in. Could it be scripted that that's how that's supposed to work out, or does it give you the game over that you failed the mission?
No, it makes me restart, keep restarting, because the objective of that match is Claymore Kevin Owens on the entranceway. It says hit Kevin Owens with a Claymore on the entranceway.
So have you tried doing it to where instead of him taking massive damage before you get there and he's in the red, you get the finisher, you go up there and you Claymore kick him then?
I can try that, but see, I've been doing the storylines, and the storylines is a lot better than 22, 20, because the last one I had was 22, and I just didn't like. It was a lot of back and forth. Um,
Yeah.
you were heel, and then you were face, and then you were heel, and then you were face, and then you were champion, and then you wasn't champion, and then you did. It was just like it was back and forth, and there wasn't just a. I kind of like how they do it on 25, which I haven't. I don't know what you do on 25, but
I just play my rise. That's the only reason I get them anymore is to play my
I
rise.
oh, where you create your own character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
that's what I'm doing. This is my rise. That's one of the part of the storylines is uh, they make
see, I
you.
thought you
I
were
mean,
doing the showcase
no. I'm
mode.
on my rise, and I haven't. I mean, I'm not very far in it, but that's one of the things because I had to create my character, and then it made me create a female character
Yeah.
for mixed tag team. So I have one of those, and I played it a little. I mean, I ain't played it in a while, but see, I can even on PlayStation 5. Well, in 4 you can do it on 4 too, but I can do screen share to where you can play my game with your controller at your house with your system.
Yeah.
It's called
Well,
it's
we'll
called
check it
Share
out
Play.
when I get stronger internet because I have to use a hotspot to do my show and to do the little bit of online stuff I get to do with PlayStation. So when I get
Well, yeah.
moved and get everything set up, I'll try for you. I never
Hey,
chose Drew McIntyre in my rise. I always I went with Cody Rhodes and Jay Uso.
see, I don't remember where I went through picking it. I think it was just one of the storylines, because one of the storylines it started off as me and the female character I created to team with CM Punk,
Yeah.
and then he turned on us, of course, and then that's just typical CM Punk. But they done good with that. That was typical CM Punk,
That is correct.
which
All right. So
I have a strange feeling on that one. He's gonna lose the title at WrestleMania.
probably. All right, so I'm gonna let you go, Vince. Let you back to driving. I'm gonna talk about Luke Mitchell here for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna end the show so I can get ready to go to work. Thanks for
All
coming
right, sir.
on. I
Well,
appreciate
actually
it.
works out because I'm pulling up to where I gotta pick up my load.
All right, take it easy, buddy.
All right, man. Bye.
Okay. My producer, Mr. Scott Larson, how you doing today? So, Scott, before I go into Luke Mitchell, do you have any questions about the character of Vince Raymond before I continue? Amber's asked a few, Vinny asked one. I've answered them all. Do you have any questions for me? If you're up to it and you're not having issues with your health, I can send you the link and you can come in and ask them on camera. I don't care. You let me know how you want to do this. You can sit with me through the Luke Mitchell thing. Do 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 do. Amber, you're not gonna be doing all the work now because Scott's here. He's here to save the day. It's what he does best. While we're waiting for that to happen, I want to again take time to thank Vinny for allowing me to create this character based off him. Really thank everybody in my life. You guys gave me some amazing characters to create this world with, this vibrant world, and continue expanding it. Um, I've never felt like a popular guy, but realizing all these people that gave me permission to use their names and use characters based off them or named after them really makes me realize how many people put up with me growing up or have been introduced to me as an adult and allowed me to become their friend. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for everybody that I've ever interacted with. I'm sorry if I have to take people that I consider friends and make them into enemies in the books, but it's all in good fun. And some of the characters I made enemies, I wanted to show them in a different light, and most of them, like Vinny, are really good people that have a dark side, and I wanted to show that on the show. Sounds like a plan, Scott. No worries. I'm not mad at you none. You go to the doctor. That's more important. Ask your questions away. I'll put them on the screen. Amber says hi, by the way. And Miss Connie, how you doing this morning? I know you're with Scott, getting ready to go to the doctor. Y'all be careful. Let me go ahead and set up the spinning wheel because I know that's coming soon. Spinning wheel is ready to roll. We're going to dive into Luke Mitchell. Um, Luke Mitchell is a character that I based off a coworker of mine when I worked at Southern Tire Mart at Pilot, Luke Markley. When I first started working for Southern Tire Mart, everybody told me Luke is an asshole. You won't like him. Stay away from him. He'll piss you off to the point that you'll quit, etc., etc. Luke and I actually got along better than me and some of the other people in the show. Amber, you're supposed to be talking about Luke. So when I was working for Southern Tire Mart, Hometown Justice Homecoming had just released. It got popular. I was tasked with writing another book. Mr. Breaking News, G Smooth, Greg Roper in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. So, Mr. G Smooth, Mr. Greg Roper, we are talking about Luke Mitchell. I've already had Vince Raymond's inspiration on the show. We talked about them a little bit, talked about some DCW stuff, and now we're going on to talk about Luke Mitchell. So, anyways, back to the discussion of Luke. Luke and I got along better than me and some of the other people in the shop. I was willing to learn. He was willing to teach, as long as I was willing to learn. And we just had that mutual respect. I wouldn't really call us friends in the beginning, but he treated me with respect because I treated him with respect. And our friendship developed over time. I came to rely on Luke's wisdom to do my job. And if I couldn't do my job, Luke would tell me, "You're just not cut out for this. Step away and let an expert do it." And I didn't take offense to that. That's just how Luke talked. So when I had to have this other character who was sort of, thank you very much, Mr. G Smooth. I did change the way I'm mentioning my affiliates now. So your show is in my intro now, and I'll bring it up on screen when I bring you on the show. For the hashtag I'm gonna say it podcast, I'll advertise it as much as I can. But when I had to write this character that was an asshole, but really a good guy deep down, I asked Luke, "Can I put you on my books?" And Luke said yes. Now, the character of Luke Mitchell doesn't officially appear until book 2 of Hometown Justice Homecoming. Book 2 of Hometown Justice, which is called Rebellion. He's in the first opening chapters and he plays a prominent part from then forward. He's mentioned in passing, and I didn't really throw a whole lot about him in there till book 2. Excuse me, just a moment. Yes, sir. Now, before I continue my discussion, Greg, I tell everybody that your show is how do I word it? I tell everybody when they're watching your show to go in with an open mind. You and I don't always agree on things politically, but we don't let that define our friendship. I watch your show because I respect you, and even though I don't agree with some of the stuff that's on your show, you may not agree with some of the stuff that's on my show, but our friendship is what matters, and more importantly, we don't let that tear us apart. Our beliefs, our differences of opinion. So when you're watching hashtag I'm gonna say it, prepare to be offended if you don't have an open mind. Prepare to be offended if you're not in agreement with some of the things that are said. Now, he does talk about the Diddy trial and the Epstein files and stuff like that. My show doesn't talk about stuff like that. So we have nothing to kind of bounce off each other. But with the Carolina Nexus podcast, we talk about wrestling, which is one thing that our friendship is based off of. So, and Vinny and I just had a very long discussion about my EFED DCW. Yes, that is Mr. I'm going to say it himself. Amber's my wife, for those of you that don't know. Now, Amber asked a question about Luke Mitchell. Will Luke Mitchell ever get to encounter Casey Elkins? That question, it's hard to answer at this point. I know he has very little interaction with her in one of the chapters in book 2. But moving forward, I don't think he's ever going to have a one-on-one interaction or a group interaction with her because the plot won't call for it. He's definitely a deep diver. I love his show. I love seeing his opinion on things and listening to the differences and making my own opinion. That's why Mr. Breaking News is one of my close friends as an adult. He tells it like it is, and he says things. To quote Eminem, he says things that most people joke about with their friends in the living room. He don't sugarcoat it. And G, if you're mad at me for comparing you to Eminem, just know that's the highest honor coming from me. See, Amber is my wife, guys, and she's constantly asking questions about the Casey Elkins series. Her and Caitlin are obsessed with Casey Elkins, and for good reason. Casey Elkins is a very interesting book series. I'm going to eventually talk about him here on the show. Um, she's a supernatural investigator set in the same universe as the Hometown Justice series. Collectively, it's called the Carolina Nexus, which is the same name as the podcast. So that's why Amber keeps asking all these questions. And just like he says to Scott here, he appreciates it. All opinions are welcome, even if it is wrong. I'll add that on there for you, Greg. All opinions are welcome, even if it is wrong. I've had some wrong opinions. I'm not going to admit it. I'm not afraid to admit it. Um, I've had some wrong opinions on a lot of things, but I'm also able to have an open mind and learn from other people's opinions as well. A lot of people in America can't do that these days. Shut up, Amber. Anyways, so Luke, let me get my notes back up here. Come on. There we go. Luke is introduced as a mechanic for Tommy. See, he didn't grow up in Pokeville. He was traveling through and he got into an altercation at a bar in the next city over, which in my book is Shelby. He wound up in jail, and the jailhouse in Shelby was full, so they sent him to Pokeville. Tommy Leons hears about this through the grapevine, pays Luke's fees, his court fees, his lawyer fees. In return, instead of paying him back, Luke has to work for him. So he does Tommy's bidding, and there's an altercation at the end of the first book where Luke doesn't do what is expected of him to do, and he winds up in the beginning. In the beginning of book 2, we when Luke is finally introduced, you find out why he no longer works for Tommy. You find out what happened, and it starts the introduction of his character into the proper story and makes, like, I say, it makes way for him. As in, from that point on, when he makes it official that he's no longer working for Tommy and he's not going back to work for Tommy, he just paves his own path with a snowplow. It's a very true statement. A lot of people can't understand a disagreement isn't a personal attack. Exactly. I've got friends, and this takes you back to my 90s mentality, Mr. G. As a 90s kid, the biggest argument we had growing up was Batman versus Superman or Austin versus Rock. And we debated those without feeling like a personal attack. But when it comes to Trump versus Biden or Obama versus Trump or George Bush versus Bill Clinton, everybody takes those attacks personally, and I don't understand it. Why can you have a conversation about fictional characters or professional athletes and not take it as a personal attack? But you can't do the same thing about politicians. He doesn't necessarily go rogue. He just doesn't work for Tommy anymore. And Tommy realizes the mistake of letting Luke go too late. I'll leave you with that little teaser. Tommy realizes the mistake of letting Luke go. Prior to the start of the series, Luke has worked for Tommy for about 3.5, 4 years. Mind you, Tommy's been in Pokeville for 7, and Alex has been gone. At the beginning of the book, he'd been gone for 11. So there's a little bit of the time frame of what's going on in Pokeville. And I did my best to capture the personality of Luke Markley, my ex coworker that Luke Mitchell was based off of. I did my best to capture his personality, and I even asked him why, because at one point in time there we were slow at work. I was writing the book on my computer at work, and I asked Luke, I put him in a scenario. Luke, this is the scenario you're in. What would you do in this situation? And I'd tap him. I'd type in his response. Coming to you, Scott. Give me just a second. Boom. It has been sent, Scott. So a lot of these characters, and especially like the character that I introduced in Casey Elkins is based on my wife, I would give the person that they're based off of a scenario, ask them how they'd respond to it, and I type their response. I was good like that. And Amber didn't know it until Casey Elkins #1 release. She had a character based off of her. She spent 3 years fussing at me for not having a character based off her in my story, and I finally put one in it. The look on her face when she read it, that was an amazing feeling. It was so hard for me to keep it a secret from her that I had a character based off her finally after 3 years of her fussing at me for it. So there's that. Thanks for the likes and the shares, guys. I appreciate it. You're right. It that does encapsulate it, and you know, I've had people attack me personally because of characters, and Greg, I've talked with you and Matt both about this. I'm getting off subject here, but there's no more questions coming in about Luke, so I'm gonna jump off subject for a minute. I have characters in my story, um, Taekwondo and his grandfather Yoshimoto. They are Asian. Yoshimoto is inspired and based on Mr. Miyagi. He's an older Asian American character. He's from Okinawa, Japan. He speaks broken English just like Mr. Miyagi did in the original Karate Kid. And that's how I worded his dialect, his talking as I'm typing it. An anonymous reviewer on Amazon said I was racist because I did that and tried to have my book taken off Amazon, which didn't work out in their favor because Amazon didn't say anything racist about it. But I had to ask people of color, people of different races, does this seem racist to you? Me as a white, Caucasian, Southern guy writing this Asian character who is in his flashback scenes at least 86 years old and spent a majority of his life in Japan speaking broken English just like Mr. Miyagi, because that's who inspired him. Does that make me racist? And a lot of them had said no, it's up to interpretation. And a lot of people have said if somebody thinks you're racist because of that, they don't really know you. And I was like, well, put yourself as somebody that doesn't know me. Read it as you only know I'm a white kid that wrote this book. I'm from South Carolina, from North Carolina, and I wrote this book. Do you think it's racist? And I go, no, because you didn't portray them as being ignorant. You didn't portray them as being stupid. You portrayed them as being someone who grew up primarily in Okinawa, Japan, coming to America and learning English. That was my reaction too, Greg. I've got compliments from people that said my book was like Dragon Ball Z if it got written by a redneck. Exactly. And that one, my editor told me I should tell Amazon to take that one down, but that one was a compliment to me because Akira Toriyama is my favorite mangaka. He's my favorite manga artist, and he wrote Dragon Ball Z, which is one of my favorite animes. So to be compared to him was a blessing, in my opinion. It wasn't an insult. So what? They called me a redneck. I've been called worse. I've been called way worse by somebody that meant more to me. I've been called a deadbeat before. That's worse than being called a redneck, in my opinion. So, I mean, it that didn't offend me because he called me a redneck and said that my work was like if Dragon Ball Z was written by Akira Toriyama if he was a redneck. That was a compliment, and I'm gonna take it as a compliment every time I read that every time I read that comment, and it's still saved on my author page on the back end of Amazon where I go upload my books because that's how I do it. But getting off subject, I'm gonna go back to Luke. Anybody got any more questions about Luke? Post them in the comments, and I'll answer them as best I can. Exactly, they put me over. And for those of you not in the know, putting somebody over is wrestling terminology. And Greg Roper, Scott Larson, myself, Vinny, we're all wrestling fans. Greg Roper is a professional wrestler, and we will use wrestling jargon like it's common language here. So, especially, you heard me and Vinny talking about heel and faces. That's wrestling jargon. If you don't know what a heel or a face is, pay attention to professional wrestling sometime. And I'm not talking about just what's on TV. There's independent shows all around your area. You just got to find them. And sometimes, no, I take that back. 90% of the time, the independent shows are way better than what's on TV. Greg Roper says all day, every day. This is a great question, Amber. Luke is a recurring character. He's not necessarily a main character. He's a recurring character. He plays small parts in the plot, but he's there. Not trying to give away too much. The audio is low. Can you hear me now? Chuck. Can you hear me now? Hang on. Oh, that's. Can you hear me now? Exactly. I'll always say that to the end of time. But back to this question. Luke will he's a prominent character for part of the show, part of the first trilogy. He takes a background character seat in the second trilogy, and I don't have any plans for him in the third. Well, all the reason I'm asking is Chuck said the audio was low. Now he says he can hear me, which is good. Thanks for informing me you couldn't hear me, Chuck. It was a issue with the microphone. I'm using my earpiece, and the computer didn't register that I was using the earpiece microphone. It was saying I was using the computer microphone. So, but yes, Luke, he's he's not central to the story, but he will be in the background after trilogy two. And the way I did these two characters that we're talking about today, Vince Raymond and Luke Mitchell, I did it to show what kind of person Tommy was. The reason they're employed by him, he paid their court fees, got him out of trouble, and they, with the exception of Luke, became loyal to him. Um, and that's the type of person that Tommy is. He thrives off that. Well, when we get to Tommy Leon's episode, we'll deep dive into more of that. discussion there. It's not what I wanted to show. Give me a second, guys. Hitting the wrong button. Amber, you've already asked this question, but I'll answer it again. He has minor encounters with Casey and her group, but he will not be driving. He will not be crossing over into her series. He'll only deal with her while she's crossed over to the Hometown Justice series, and it won't be anything major. And for those of you just tuning in, the reason Amber is so obsessed with Casey Elkins, she likes it more than she does the Hometown Justice series, because she's a character in that series, so she's excited about that. We ain't worried about it here, guys. Nobody's judging you for asking a repeat question. So, I'm getting ready to spin the wheel to find out what characters we'll be talking about next show, which will be Tuesday. I know this last 3 days has been Carolina Nexus podcast friendly. Before I go, though, that is totally why you like Casey Elkins more. Anyways, before I get ready to go, I'm going to do the spin of the wheel and see what we got going on for the next episode. Also, before I go, OCWA live on Twitch. Check them out so we can get the viewership up. That is a WWE 2K25 Wrestling E-Fed that I'm a part of. Scott Larson's a part of. Mr. Breaking News G Smooth's a part of. Um, Amber's technically a part of it. She's got a character on there. You don't have to do anything to be prominent. You don't have to do promos. You don't have to do anything. You just got to share the result, the flyers, and get people brought in. I'm doing it on my show. Bring some people in. Watch the show on Twitch. I think there's a show tonight. Scott, am I right? There's an OCWA show tonight. Scott, Greg, I don't have a flyer for it, or I'd share it. Um, yeah, whatever. Amber, you wanted to you say that, use that as an excuse to cover the real reason you like Casey Elkins, which is the fact you're a character in it. Give me just a minute. I'm looking for information about tonight's show. It's Friday night. I don't know if it's Friday night fight night or Friday night feuds. I know it's tonight though. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. I know we do Wednesday Night Wreckage. Hasn't been shared yet. Great googly boogly. All right, so pay attention to my Facebook page, and I will get the flyer put up as soon as I can. Let me talk with Matthew about getting a logo to share for this because it's insane that I don't have a logo. I'll get a logo for it. Let's do the spin the wheel now, guys, and figure out what characters we're talking about next week or next show. All right. Anybody want to bet on what character we're going to get? Let's do this. So character number one we're going to talk about, Marcus Bagwell. Okay. So character number two is going to be about Alexander Graham Ruler. All right. So next episode we're going to dive into Alex Ruler and Marcus Bagwell. Welcome aboard, producer. How you doing?
What's going on, man? I am so sorry for the wait. I tried to get on my phone and it wouldn't let me go through my phone. It wouldn't accept my yes to everything on my phone. It just rejected my
The
phone.
permissions. I got you.
Yeah, the permissions. So I had to come in here and turn on my computer. Then I couldn't find my glasses. My cat knocked my glasses off the table, so I couldn't find my glasses. And I can't see without my glasses to do anything. So now, it was just.
You had to validate me. I got you.
But I made it. But
you did.
I want to ask a couple questions about your character, and I want to say one thing about Greg. Greg's probably gone, but he might see this later. When you were talking about his show, now everybody who knows me knows I, at one time, was a far right-leaning conservative. Okay,
right.
Watching Greg and his show, I am now an independent. I'm still a conservative, but now I'm independent because Greg's opened my eyes to a lot of things that I did not know. So that's why I said, when you come at Greg, you better have done your homework, because Greg is one of them guys that when I say he deep dives, I'm not kidding you.
Well, I think the statement that I made about his show was accurate. Either come in prepared or come in with an open mind to be prepared.
Yes. And I was shocked, and I wasn't prepared. And
right.
Don't come in Greg's show, whether he's talking about celebrities or whether he's talking politics, and think that just a few clips you've heard off the news is going to get you through.
Right. So before you ask your questions, Amber asked one more.
Okay.
She wanted to ask if the character of Vincent's last name is pronounced Rayman, Ryman, or Ramen, like the noodles. It's pronounced the way it's spelled, Raymon. It's Raymond, without the D.
Okay. So it is pronounced Raymond, like the noodles.
Yes.
Call it ramen. I don't know why. Why do people call them ramen noodles? They're Raymond noodles.
I have no idea.
But anyway, I was fascinated with the Luke character you were talking about earlier. You said he was a coworker of yours, and I'm supposed to be getting ready to go. I got to go in a couple hours to my back doctor, but you sucked me in, bro. You always suck me in with
Got to give you something to invest in. That's what you taught me.
You did. So, and Amber, hi. I know you said a while ago hi, and I wasn't able to respond. So, how you doing, Amber? I know you're out there somewhere. That this guy, I love the way you write, in that you have the capabilities. I can't do that. I couldn't do that. To take a person that you know and inject him into one of your books and give him almost the same talents as he's got in real life, but you put it into your book. Have you always been able to do that? Like you said, you've been writing since you were a kid. So, I know Dr. Seuss and Cat in the Hat doesn't go deep into characters, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But the older you get, did you realize that the people around you were your influences, or did that just come naturally?
That came naturally. It was I wouldn't say naturally. It was an outside idea given to me by an English teacher I had. Her name is Gwen Cash. She was
Always
my
those darn teachers, man.
right. She was my sixth grade language arts teacher, and she noticed that I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to her class. I was too busy writing my own stories.
Right.
So I was the most hated kid in class because since she couldn't keep my attention and I wasn't doing my homework like I was supposed to, her and my mom contacted, and my mom started writing the test for the class.
Okay.
And that at that point in time, I became the most hated kid in class because my mom would ask you had to really pay attention to answer my mom's questions for the test. Well, I asked Miss Cash for help on a project I was working on that wasn't school related, and she told me to pay attention to the people around me for inspiration. She didn't say put them in your book. She said pay attention to the people around you for inspiration, and she used Carl Sandburg as an example. He's a poetry author, and he would pay attention to his backyard. There's 17 poems about this man's backyard, and they're all from different points of view. And then she also used another author that I'm heavily inspired by, K.A. Applegate. She wrote the Animorphs books, and all of K.A. Applegate's characters are based off of her children's friends.
Right.
She just gave them different names. So that was really unique. And I tried to get K.A. Applegate to come on the show and me give her my props and everything, but her booking committee said that she doesn't do podcasts.
Mark Twain did the same thing with his books, all his books, including Tom Sawyer and all that. That was actual like stories of his childhood and things
Right.
like that he had put in his books. People later learned. So, but it just amazes me how you can take people around you and give them life in your books. That is a cool thing, man.
Like I said, when I was talking about Luke, I was writing book 2 while working at Southern Tire Mart. So I had my computer on top of my toolbox. I had a little bucket I sat on, and I would talk to Luke himself and say, "Hey, if you were in this situation, how would you respond? How would you react? What would your body language be?" And as he would tell me, I'd type it into my note document and go home and turn it into the character of Luke Mitchell.
Right.
So I got a lot of input, and I've done the same thing you have. Asked you questions at wrestling shows, or even when we're talking in person, to see how you'd handle certain situations, and I've got it prepared for when your character makes his debut in Casey Elkins' book 3.
That's cool. That's cool, man. I love it. But
that's a bot. I don't know what that.
Yeah, they hit everywhere, man. Don't matter where you go.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I am not coming. Well, I won't say not. One of many reasons why doing podcasting has gotten me out of the game. Is that right? That's one of the reasons. You never know who's real and who's not.
Amber says she remembers me typing at the computer at our old house while she cooks supper and the kids are playing in the bedrooms. That was one of the few times I had quiet moments to do anything without being bombarded with 1,000 questions.
Right. But again, that makes for the story, though, right? I mean, it is your surroundings that give you ideas. So,
right,
if it's too quiet, then you're going to be like you're missing the point.
Well, when it's really quiet, that's when I'm writing the slice of life scenes. with the characters introducing with not the villains or not each other. They're interacting with other side characters. So that the slice of life scenes, like we talked about on the show we did together, it's about balance, and I tried my best to balance it out all the way through.
There you go. There you go. So, and I never have asked this question because, of course, I've only read the first book. In your series with Alex Ruler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he eventually get the bad guy at the end? Just yes, no. I don't want to know how. I don't want to know. Just yes, no. Or is it a cliffhanger?
Are you asking about Tommy Leon's or the overall bad guy?
The overall bad guy, the big
okay.
guy.
So
the big guy who's causing trouble in the town.
Okay, so that can be broken down into three separate characters because Tommy Leon's is one of the people causing trouble. Antoine DeMarco's causing trouble, and then Steve Bertinelli is funding Antoine and Tommy. Right. So in the first trilogy, it deals with Tommy Leon's, and yes, there's a conclusion to that trilogy where Alex puts Tommy.
Don't tell us how it happens because I want.
I'm trying to figure. He puts Tommy. He takes Tommy out of commission. We'll leave it at that. He doesn't kill him, but he takes him out of commission.
Okay.
And that sets up the second trilogy because there's a for lack of better terms, there's a post-credit scene where you get a glimpse of Antoine DeMarco,
right, saying
Leon's has been taken care of. Now it's time for us to move in and take over Pokeful.
I got you. So it's sort of like, and I'll use a comic book reference, and this is a horrible one because it's probably not even true, but it would be like the Joker being the main bad guy and him sending out, Sandman and somebody else to do his bidding. And you're talking about taking out one of the bidded guys in the end of this one. And then the next one will be the second one. And then finally the big guy, right?
Right. That's exactly right. And this dynamic with these villains came from another manga, Yu Yu Hakusho, the Ghost Files. For the dark tournament arc of this, and Amber knows what I'm talking about. It's Yusuke Urameshi. He's a spirit detective. For the third arc, there was the dark tournament arc, and the richest guy on the planet in that series hosts the dark tournament, which he brings demons into the world, and they fight. And whoever wins the tournament committee grants them one wish, anything they want, anything they desire. But for some reason they changed the rules for Yusuke. When he enters the tournament, he has to have a team, and the entire team, each member of the team gets a wish. And the owner of the guy that runs the tournament has henchmen in the tournament designed to take out Yusuke. So I took that dynamic and made it my own.
Okay. There you go. I love that. That is totally awesome. Well, brother, unfortunately, I do have to leave. I have to go get ready to go. It's been a pleasure to come on.
Yes, sir.
When you were coming on, I would have been on earlier, but I don't want to sit too long and get my back all irritated.
I got you. You're gonna be sitting long enough at the doctor's office waiting to call you back anyway. So
there you go. All right, love you guys, Amber, everybody out there, Greg, everybody who showed up, man. Thank you for showing up to the Carolina Nexus for my man here, Alex. Please go out there, as you can see, scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Go to Amazon, put Charles Cloninger in the search bar, and all his books will come up, man. I've only read one, but I will be getting more because the more I ask him questions about this, the more I don't want him to keep giving stuff away. Go get the books. So I'm gonna
either have you download Kindle and give you my login so you can read them on Kindle so I can get you the physical book or something. I got to make it up to you.
We'll figure it out, man. I ain't sweating the small stuff. But you have a great day, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go see a doctor about go see a man about a horse. Bye,
there you go.
We'll talk to y'all later.
Later. No, Amber, the the relationship between Steve Bertinelli, Tommy Leons, and Antoine DeMarco is based off of the Black Club, the Black Book Club in Yu Yu Hakusho. That's what that is. And you spelled Hakusho wrong, by the way. Anyways, next episode, guys, Tuesday. I don't know what time yet. It can be any time during the day. Tuesday's my flexible days. It depends on how busy I am that day. But Tuesday, we're going to be talking about Marcus Bagwell and Alexander Graham Ruler, the main character of the story. You guys bring your questions. I'll bring the answers. We'll make it happen. Before I go, I have one more surprise for you guys. And I want to make this, because of this surprise, hang on, not what I wanted. I have a surprise, and I gotta set this up. This is for people that need to hear this.
Hey, I just want to tell you that is JDF.
Hang on. My son, Tyson Oliver Cloninger, is named after Ty from my books, Oliver Queen and Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger and the Green Arrow, or Green Arrow, Green Ranger, respectively. And I've always idolized JDF, Jason David Frank, the actor behind Tommy Oliver. This is a video that I found of his, and I listen to it on a daily basis because it inspires me, and I want to inspire my audience. So I've got this video for you guys to listen to. Check it out. Listen to the words he's saying, because I think everybody needs this inspiration and motivation. Check it out for me real quick, guys.
Hey, I just want to tell you that is JDF. I want you to always remember, stay motivated. Never say the words, I can't. Always say, I can. Always say, I will. Never say, I won't. And I just want you to wear this to protect you, to give you the motivation to succeed in life and to become who you want to become. And always remember, no matter who says anything, you are you, and you should be your biggest fan and be proud. Wear this always to protect you, and wear it and have that confidence, and always know JDF believes in you and you believe in yourself. Much love, much respect. It's morphin' time.
That was JDF, Jason David Frank, the original Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver. He played Green Mighty Morphin, White Mighty Morphin, Red Zeo, Red Turbo, and Black Dino Thunder Power Rangers. One of my biggest idols growing up. I listen to that video on a daily basis. It gives me goosebumps. I've got goosebumps now listening to it because he's an inspiration to me. It was a tough time when he passed away. I didn't do like some people though, and let it affect me to the point that I called into work, et cetera, et cetera. But it did affect me. I was torn apart, and it rocked me to my core. That guy, I've only met him once. It was via video chat. He chatted with me for like an hour. Had made plans to go to a Comic-Con he was going to be at after his, like the month after he died. He was supposed to be at a Comic-Con close to me. I'd made plans. He was going to sign my White Ranger helmet, and unfortunately, he passed away. So I couldn't get that done. I couldn't meet my idol in person, but his legacy lives on with my son. I wanted to name my son Tommy Oliver, but that didn't happen. I named him Tyson Oliver, Oliver from Oliver Queen, and Tommy Oliver. That's how I paid my homage to him. And some of the things that happen in my books, I've learned watching his karate, his don't feel bad. What the world? I don't know what's happening. My thing just spazzed. Amber says Ollie fell asleep listening to JDF talk. Of course he did. Man's an inspiration to all of us. So I hope that video helps you guys. I'm gonna show it pretty regularly on the show from here on out. I found it. I screen recorded it, uploaded it to the computer so I could do that. Before I go, I was asked to put this up. GIW Global Impact Wrestling presents Thursday Night Throwdown, February 12th, 2026. The YouTube channel there, Global Impact Wrestling, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern. You guys go check them out. It is going to be an amazing show. It's going to be done on WWE 2K25, just like OCWA. From what I understand now, GIW is going to be the developmental territory for OCWA. I never said that. I never said that, and I wasn't going to name him Thomas. I was going to name him Tommy. Just, I never said that, Amber. It's all good. It's all good. I chose Tyson. Wasn't you? It was me. So remember, Marcus Bagwell, Alexander Graham Ruler. Bring your questions. Tuesday, I'll announce a time over the weekend. I'll see you guys there. Have a good night.